My name is Jennie Westmoreland, and I'm the charge nurse at St. Joseph's Hospital in the Post-Anesthesia Care Unit, or PACU, and my strategic plan is to improve the flow of patients out of the PACU. St. Joseph's Hospital has been in the Tucson area since the early 1960s, serving southern Arizona and the Tucson community. 3 years ago, it was bought out by the Tenet Corporation, the Tenet Healthcare Corporation, where it moved from a nonprofit hospital to a for-profit hospital. His core values are quality, integrity, service, innovation, and transparency. I've handed everybody out a SWOT analysis and the strategic map that you can refer to during this presentation. Our strategic goal for our project is for St. Joseph's Hospital to move from a silo effect on each unit to a team approach to patient placement. Waiting for a room can directly affect patient scores and staffing morale and physician satisfaction. So we have a goal to improve satisfaction scores and staffing morale. Assigning an inpatient room within 1 hour of request will move the organization to become more competitive, as well as meet the desires of the people we employ and the patients we see. Our communication plan for this project is to gather relative information and do a communication audit, define the objective and results the plan will achieve, name an individual from each unit that receives our patients to be a go-to person, develop the forms of communications, such as delivering the information via email, bulletin boards, staff meetings, develop the time for the communication, how often we need to communicate to the various units, and review and report the metrics. How will this plan work? I will act as the conductor. I will educate the PACU staff, communicate with the surgeons, and support and encourage the various units and unit charges. Each unit will assign a representative that will be their communicator and their go-to person. That person will go to all meetings and be informed of the process so they can relay that information to the units and bring any concerns or roadblocks from the units to us. In order for this plan to work, the physicians need to do prompt communication with hospitalists and writing orders. This metric will be fairly easy to achieve since most of the physicians currently do that. There's just a few of the surgeons we'll need to bring on board. And then to improve the use of the discharge lounge. The discharge lounge is an asset that St. Joseph's has that is very rarely used. We need to be transparent with our issues and include this project in the daily huddles so that we can discuss issues and success. The marketing department does need to promote this, our improved waiting times, but the most important part about this is the relationships between the hospital units need to improve. This is going to be a 6-step process. Step 1 is the flow is a team sport, meaning everybody is accountable and we work together. Step 2 is we need to develop a culture of accountability. That means each unit is responsible for delays, but they feel free to communicate any roadblocks, issues that they are having in a non-threatening environment. Step 3 is the discharge lounge. Like I said, this is an asset that St. Joseph's had paid for. It is staffed, it was remodeled, and it is hardly ever used. If a patient is to be discharged and does not have a ride to their facility or their home, they need to be sent to the discharge lounge. That way we can get a patient up that room clean and get the next patient up to it. Step 4 is to review the surgical schedule. In huddles right now, especially the afternoon huddle, we discuss the staffing for the evening and the following day, but the surgical schedule is not included in that. We need to include that so that the units are aware of how many surgeries are coming to them and what time the surgeries are coming out, especially to the ICUs. Step 5 will be to educate the PACU so that they are not documenting in the computer that that patient is ready to move until they are actually ready to give report. Currently, the patient comes out, they ask the clerk to click it ready to move, and many times there is a bed assigned to them and it takes them up to an hour to call report. Step 6 will be to assign a PACU bed within 60 minutes and for the nurse on the floor to be ready to receive the report within 15 minutes and the PACU nurse to be ready to give report within 15 minutes. The measures and metrics that we're going to use to measure our success are an employee feedback survey will be sent out between July 1st and the 15th. to get their feedback on how it's going in the various units, with a prize to the unit that answers the most surveys. A physician survey unit will be given out in July. And then our patient satisfaction scores need to increase 5% monthly until September, or until the score is at 75% or above. Currently, as of yesterday, our scores are at 62%. And then to have an increase of surgeries by 10% by the end of July 2019. This is a copy of the strategic map that you have received. You can see that it addresses the learning and growth goals, which are improved communication with families, improved accountability, and improved communication with units. Our internal goals, which are improved computer documentation, decreased silo effect between the units, and increased use of the discharge lounge. Our customer goals are improved employee satisfaction, improved physician satisfaction, and improved patient satisfaction, which ultimately lead to the financial goal of increased revenue by improved marketability and increased surgeries. So in conclusion, we need to have an open communication for this to work. Units need to be in constant contact with each other, discussing any roadblocks, any issues that they have, in an environment that is safe without any threat. We need to remove the silo effect. We need to go from thinking that every unit is one man for himself, each unit for himself, to we are a team. As a goal, the hospital needs to move the patient quickly. We need to be transparent. Nobody needs to worry or be afraid about bringing any issues or concerns, so that we can immediately look at it and address at it and make some changes. We must use the discharge lounge. Patients are waiting in rooms 1 and 2 hours for rides, holding up, getting that room clean and getting the next patient up there. The discharge lounge is staffed. We must start using it. And then we must review the metrics in both the huddle and on a daily basis, so that we can look if there's any area that we need to change or adjust. Thank you.